justice for all. Rise and never fall. Tell them, say, boom. What they gonna do when enough of them not true? Say what they gonna do, them get slew, yeah. Who do you think you are? We're living in a small world. As wicked as you think you are, we're living in a small world. As bad as you think you are, we're living in a small world.
Yeah, good evening to everyone. Monday Night Live. Home and abroad. Everybody. Yeah, you know, like, the vibes, the vibe is the vibe right now. We're there, keeping the vibes going, keeping it positive. And we just have to keep the struggle, and keep it real. So, let's just keep the conversation going for now.
Yeah, man. Me, I just want the people out there to know that the fire to keep burning, and the hope they're trying to kill in us, we have to ignite that. We cannot stay repressed for vanity. Have man hold us down just because they offer us things. And other places in our life, we reject them things and we move on. It doesn't make man have us, it doesn't make woman have us for material things. We just move. So we shouldn't have a government making us shut our mouth for material goods and take suffering because they promise us material that we supposed to be working for. Yes.
People have to have dignity and pride in themselves.
Yes.
That is why it comes down to self-care and them kind of things there. It's not just about money, the balance of life. So you need to have that balance of life. That is something that is required for you to be able to live a healthy life. Everything you have to have limits, you have to have that balance. You cannot just allow somebody to abuse. That is putting you back in slavery. The slavery was an extreme abuse, but it's the whole abuse that really is slavery. Taking away your pride, taking away your dignity. We never really look at it like how that man went about in slavery. To demoralize the slaves and to keep control of them, but it's the same thing that
wanting to be owned.
Because they don't.
Because being responsible for themselves becomes so much of an alien thing. You grow up knowing that they're telling you when to eat, sleep, and shit. You check. So you have no real control over your life. You check me. They giving you they telling you what close to where the food you're planting. Even if you have your own little spot they give you to plant, the land is not yours. So you never have had that knowledge of responsibility. They say that freedom is not free. Freedom is a responsibility, and is a thing that you have to care for. When you talk about being free, you're free to make choices, but you have to deal with the consequences of those choices. You understand? So, in that freedom, you have, let's talk about wealth and generation of wealth. You check me? Land ownership. All those things you have to have education to know how to handle those things, how to pass them on, if you have to title, if you know. So all of those things there, how to use that land to access financing. So all those knowledge there, we have to have that to enrich ourselves in the true sense.
As you say, bring that up there. I like to add, like I having a conversation with some brethren, and it's something to that point they was alluding to where they're asking me like, okay, the movements, the movements we're on there right now, to get the government to resign. Once that we get that to happen, then that means we liberated from those people that are now back there. Checking what in the first 3 months, what would be the actions, you know, taken and stuff like that. Because you're free now, so you have to think of, you have to continue the movement, the works that like civil servants are about to get paid and stuff like that.
You're free now, what you're going to do to remain free.
Yeah, and stuff like that. And also, you know, like, okay, I told him, like, you know, first thing we want to do, we would like to do in the first 3 months, even first straight of time like that, is to fix the place, you know, to restructure, reconstruct the place in terms of personnel. We have a lot of square feet in the wrong holes, so we need to deal with that. On the second, like, so some people, to them, you see, they will nail certain things like permanent. They feel like permanent secretary, people that are, how to say it, appointed in certain positions, like they untouchable, like they cannot be fired. So that people that have that kind of a notion that, like, you want to fix the thing, and if that person not doing what they need to be doing and they hold in a permanent secretary position, like, you can be fired, because it will be the union, whatever bargaining, whatever agreement you have, you know, that you cannot just fire them, you know, stuff like that.
Well, so therefore, you know what I would think about doing? The first thing I would think about doing, I would think about doing, but the first thing that needs to be done, the first thing that needs to be done as soon as you get that government to resign from office, Maggie, is to fix law and order.
Yeah.
Once you fix law and order, you fix all square pegs in the wrong holes already.
No, but before you can reach
Check.
that point.
Law and order is what you need to be fixed the most.
So I have a point there, you know, Pyro, before you
Yeah, but
begin.
before you can even reach to there, you must assess the whole situation. So,
Yeah.
you have to actually do basically a full assessment, because how you going to know that person is a square peg in a round?
Alright.
You must assess the situation.
Right.
So wait, before you even go there,
That is one of the first things I have to do before I
people
even attack
responsible.
nobody.
in situations like that, where you have the government, you know, breakdown or whatever, the security of the state fall to the police, you know.
Yeah.
You check me?
Yeah.
So you see, that is the first fundamental problem that we have. Because we have a police that don't understand that if the government go rogue, it is their duty to protect the state.
And the thing about it is that right now, at this present moment, the police are being controlled by the government.
Exactly.
But so then the government comes out there and then you have the interim.
Then the
They
police
have to
is
they're
the
supposed
first
to be
line of
independent.
security for the state.
They're supposed to be independent.
Yeah.
But right now, as it stands, they are not independent. They are the government controls them.
Yeah.
So you need to bring back that independent body.
Yeah. But for that to happen, you have to remove those puppets.
Yeah.
That was just doing.
So once you fix law and order,
Yeah.
you understand?
Mm-hmm.
They do have a
Yeah,
choice.
but that going more beyond law and order. You know.
Now I understand. I understand the basic simplicity to which Tola speaking
Yes, but
about
now
it.
it's
You looking at
beyond
the
No, in the
but
constitution,
in thing, but
you know that, you know, bro.
understand the simplicity of what Tola is saying.
Yeah, man.
The first, not the first thing, you know, like you say, you have to assess.
Yeah.
But in reality, the security of the state which falls to the police in the event that the government have to fall, have to fix, because them man are an issue to us at the present moment.
Yeah.
Because if we don't solve them man as an institution,
Yeah.
if we don't rid the corruption out of that police station, my brother, it's going to undermine anything that's going to happen going forward. Anything. It will undermine it.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Lincoln Corbett going to be the bravest police chief ever. So he wasn't brave before, so now they fall. So now he's the bravest man. You can do this. You can come down there and to know what you going to do. You know you can't be police chief because you understand.
Okay, just give me a second.
Go ahead.
How I see it, the security of the state would fall to the police, right?
Yes.
But then what you would have is a balance. What we have to try to establish is a balance in the house.
But not to interrupt you, constitutionally, if we get rid of the government, the president still in charge of the country, we as the government, the cabinet, the sitting ministers, the subordinates of the president to resign. We're still supposed to have a president who is in charge of his police force. But for the winner constitutional crisis, because our president entered for the presidency illegal. But still, he have to be there to deal with the matter first. First to deal with him.
No, so a comment there from St. Var. She said, even before an assessment, we could already see who was square general rules. Example, Valerie and Corbett. Definitely too.
One day I tell Valerie,
it's true, but at the end of the day, you see, Maggie, there is a thing, you don't want to come and repeat the same thing that was already been done. So you don't just want to come and victimize and discriminate. Hold on, my brother.
Hold on, the pyro finish.
Hold on.
The pyro finish.
At the end of the day, things have to be done in an orderly fashion.
Yes.
And with justification.
Yes.
So you cannot just come and just say,
In a democratic
you understand? That is exactly democracy. So the science and back it up with facts and evidence. We check.
Pyro, I respect what you're saying, but I also respect what Maggie's saying. In the event that the government for tomorrow I want Corbett gone, tomorrow I want Valerie gone, tomorrow I want Justice Brooks gone, tomorrow I want them gone.
Are you telling me they will not be gone?
Hold on, Pyro.
Hold on. Only time I'm listening to you. Hold on. You check.
Only time
I'm listening to
you. You are speaking for me.
Boss, if you come and you repeat the same thing that them man been doing, we're going to end up in the same situation that we are presently.
Yeah, you don't want to become what you
don't want. Exactly.
Listen,
hold on. The same approach of just coming and dismiss people, that's not going to work. You check. Anytime you come and do that, you're going to have the same power assumption in your brains and in your attitude, and it's going to corrupt the whole intention of everything. You check. So you have to do things in an orderly,
constitutionally.
And we know definitely some of them people, they're just going to step down without you
automatically.
You think?
I was saying that too as well. Yeah, man.
You're assuming.
Not assuming.
Yeah, I was saying that.
But you know.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I was saying that. You know my experience with Coach Faustin. Coach Faustin was coaching the team, going coach Icon, and he have some Malagasy man on them. And man checking, like, he have managers have to come out on the team, like telling the coach, like, he have certain players, like, they contaminating the team because them man, so he just, he said, no, the bad ones will weed out themselves. The bad ones will weed out themselves. So we just have to do the structure right, make it, put the law and the things in order. This is how we run in, and if you don't want to run like that, check your sin.
Yeah.
So you have to fight for your pick. If Mr. playing better than you, Mr. play starting, and if you don't start it and you have a problem, check your sin.
Yeah.
You check it. So it is. So when we come there and we're telling you, so it's being done, you have to be done, and you don't want to do it so. You have to check your sin because the people are speaking, that's all the people want it done.
You see me, that victimization and that punishment for some individuals. Tomorrow Quebec have to go, Valerie have to go. Them man crimes too blatant in the society for them man to be staying there. No, fellas, you're on pause for the moment. Just leave the network and go and sit down on time out for now. Don't stay in your job and do nothing. Just go over there on time out still. We're going to investigate matters with you. Because a lot of them, man. Yes. But you have to take them out in positions they are and still and put their investigation. They cannot stay in their position. They have to get rid. You cannot have Bernie. They have to come out in their position. You cannot have Bernie Brooks in the court system another 5 years again. When she overstay, come X amount of years and she there doing that corruption and the can wait a minute, no man, they can stay there. No, you leave the bench immediately.
Bro.
Leave the Pyro, that woman stayed there, overstay her.
But nobody not telling you
Exactly.
no, but you have to approach the team in
But
a
I
way where
understand.
you cannot just come and just do certain things.
My brother, there are
Because
certain
if you
people
come and
that
think like
have to
that,
go just so, my
me and you
brother.
will not get a problem. I telling you that straight. If
It
you come
have
and
people
think like
that have to go.
because
My
it's
brother.
nonsense out there. You
No,
can't-
no,
Or you
no,
want
no,
to
no.
come and do the same thing
Where
them
we
man
see
was
it's a
doing.
democracy. and
Jamaica,
it's right.
my brother. What you
The
telling
right
me?
democracy.
My
is
brother,
not
Vic-
in it.
You have to do it in the right
But
way.
of course,
Yeah.
My brother, some people have to be removed from their position
but every,
when you
every
come in, my
position,
brother.
like we already
Some
said,
position
boss, the whole
have
thing
to assess my brother in the
Hold on,
departments, boy.
hold on.
is a total reform.
I can't- let me-
so once
let
you're
me-
having a total reform,
Let me-
everything must be assessed and everything must be analyzed.
Let me.
You check? Because it's a total reform.
My brother, if we don't
But
analyze
now when
it,
you
who
come
doing
and
and
you
who
just check
doing
it
what,
like,
my
okay,
brother?
Boom, just no. How you going to decide when you're going to draw the line?
Yeah,
Who you going to just
Yeah,
take out and who
you make
you
it
have
up,
to
you
have
My
a
brother-
basis of what you doing, my brother.
There are people in present positions
Nobody don't tell
of
you
the
you
society
do, but
that
they
have to
don't
be
do.
removed
Like we shared.
upon the situation changing, my brother.
Yes, that
I was
is
talking
good.
about
We need to
going,
have that
I was
kind of
talking
thing.
about going in the Ministry of Finance and just, hey, you that secretary, come out inside there. You that, leave that come. No! It has certain heads. They just have to leave the position. You have to put them on pause to deal with the matter. They cannot be in place burning files and doing things and
Yeah, I understand
no.
what you're saying. Yeah.
I for fairness,
Yeah.
but
Because that's how it, in
You-
the more developed
Okay,
nations,
okay,
that's how they do
Mojo,
it.
Mojo.
victimization to me is when you come in the departments and you start to just want to tell people go because it's labor that put you there. It's this and them kind of vibes there. That to me is victimization.
Yeah.
I cannot have Corbett sitting down as police chief there, my brother, next day, government up with my brother.
Mojo, all you have to say is you have to put them on suspension.
Whatever you want to state it, some man have to come out
be
there.
investigating them, to putting them on suspension.
Some man have to come out there immediately.
Well, if the government office, so you
But
really
hold on,
think
hold
the
on,
government
hold on.
going and sit down there.
Hold on,
Of course.
hold on.
Don't make a man courageous,
hold
boy.
on. Hold on. We're going a little too fast.
Hey, Jordan, tell you.
Let
You
us-
have to use your mind to
Let
it.
us
Mr. Don't
let us
resigning,
put
bro.
something into perspective, man.
Boss, but the man is part of the whole cabal. So how you going to
never
stay
stay,
there?
boy.
You will
Mr. never
never
stay,
stay.
We shall never stay with you, boy.
Question.
Boy, Mr. Stay in there, my brother. Mr. Waiting for somebody to fire him.
Can never stay.
Mr. Going and wait for somebody to fire him, my brother.
Question.
One thing I can tell you, that make
Question.
a little
Go ahead with your question, Flacco. Why is that?
Make sure little paper factory running again.
Flacco, go ahead.
Okay.
You
Question.
have to lock yourself in your toy.
Why?
Is that joke?
Because that is a problem that if we do address it, even after things change, it will still remain the same. We have to understand why people that in such prestigious positions will sell their integrity. You check me? Is it the pay that not enough? You check me?
Well, of
Because
course-
I figure
well, of
if
course it will not enough.
you in a, let's say you in the IPO or you wherever, you should have your integrity intact. You check me? To be able to be impartial and to dispense your duty fairly, because it's a sacred thing that there. Because what happens is when you see you fail in your duty, these things there that we're discussing, these situations that we are in, that is the outcomes of the failings of the people that hold in those positions. So what we have to ask ourselves is, what is it that, because it come back to the same thing, of dignity, It's not, there's no integrity without dignity, Because if you're in a position and you feel that you're dignified in that position, you wouldn't want to tarnish, you wouldn't want to bring yourself down
It's
to,
a teenager and come through, because at the end of the day, you must have a certain level of continuity.
Yeah.
Right? but you still have to be able to give people that confidence that they can continue.
Yeah.
You check? Now that is what I try and basically break it down too. When you come and you basically just take it man and just say, okay, boom, boom. But if you have a basis on what you're doing, you check me, and a structure to how it's going about, then people can have that confidence to continue.
And let me just add to what you say in Pyro, because you see, you are a professional, right? So what I would believe is that if you're working in a guild of your peers, then through your experience and your knowledge and your expertise, you will rise in the ranks within your peers, within your organization, right? Within your guild.
Yeah.
So similarly, we need to have that kind of environment in those institutions, so that the positions that are at the head of those institutions are not based on appointments. Is people rising through the ranks of their peers.
Yeah.
You understand? So when you have a man in the that is head engineer or whatever, he's not head engineer by appointment. Because these these appointments, I believe, have a lot of undue influence in them. People will will carry out political favors for the ministers and them to garner that favoritism. You understand? To get appointments. So we need to take out the appointment, these appointments in high positions, and put it in a merit-based way that people can rise in their profession among their peers, as professionals. You understand? Because who are you to because you are the Prime Minister, you're not the chief on all other disciplines. You understand? Allow people,
all departments to run themselves.
Independently, of course.
Don't want to be like you micromanaging everything in each other, everything.
No, it's them man that give up their responsibility to him. It's a valid point there, Flacco. At the end of the night, near the end of the day, that merit have to come back into the situation. Man have to rise into position in those institutions. But certain position in certain institutions will be always political, if I want to say it like that, or it will be in that realm where the government, the people in charge would have to choose it.
Yeah.
So it's a boiling down to the people who put themselves up for those institutions. In whose eyes is the dignity for? Is it the dignity for party loyalty? So you look dignified in the party, holding the foot down in, say, like the IPO? Or is the dignity for the country and the public, so you can look dignified, or for his profession, and you look dignified, representing for your profession, the country, and yourself? Which is, because I listen to what you said, and it's a very valid point. But the dignity in whose eyes? Because I have a lot of people, like for example, Davidson Valerie. His dignity of performance is in the eyes of whom? It is in the eyes of his master, the boss man. So
that's why he's telling you he's married. Based on your profession. So if in your profession you perform in it. Remember, in the profession, basically that is why, if you look at it, Dominica basically doesn't really have professional bodies. So you maybe only have, like what? The only real professional body I would say is maybe the medical body. Right? And well, you have the lawyers, the bar association, virtually all them other things, like engineering, all them things. Well, the engineers to some degree, the architects none. That is about the art city, the only real professional bodies that have in existence in Dominica. And the engineers, no, I don't think the engineers, because you don't really have to sit no exam, you don't have nothing to really do to prove. Apart from you go to school and you come back, normally you would go through a system of of where they break you into the whole system, the society, or how things actually working.
Yeah.
Like for example, Pyro, in the constitution, the police have the Public Service Commission, is that? And it's through that people getting promotions.
Yes.
And what. But that's still the Police Welfare Association, I think, recommending police that they believe deserve promotion.
I think you have two commissions. There have the Public Service Commission
And the police service. Yeah.
So the police will recommend. That's two different commissions.
Yeah.
You see, it is about you see boiling down to dignity for nation, and you see it like in America. Hold on, Pyro, let me just speak. Like you see it in America. Fellas are Republicans, but then you are the Inspector General of the Army. Yeah, you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, but when the problem go down and the big investigation have to go down, you being Republican or Democrat have nothing to do with
the image on the
with you have to hold that Inspector General position neutral and run a proper investigation for your profession and for your nation. But nobody still boiling down to you, the person having the dignity to hold himself here, Pyro.
Part of it, that is what I try to tell you. Part of it, right, that keeping you, because that professional responsibility is the professional body, is it? Because you're answerable to a professional body. Okay? The same way, take
like
for
a law
instance,
firm, like
right, they can sue you for malpractice, you can lose your license. See how recently we got a lawyer.
Rudy Giuliani in America.
No, right there in the Caribbean.
He lose his license?
Yeah, man.
For
They took away his license. I can't remember exactly. I think he St. Lucia, St. Vincent. I can't remember. They took away his license. You check? So then he can no longer practice law. He'd have to go back and maybe spend, I don't know
X
what is the
amount of
process,
years,
but he'd
X
have to go
amount
back.
of years exile.
Right. You check? So you'd have to go back and reevaluate and all kind of a thing. But now, Dominica, you ever hear of a lawyer losing his license? You see, okay, take for instance, enough doctors are not being allowed to practice in the hospital. But who is allowing that? You're supposed to have a medical board to say, well, okay, that doctor, he have his license, so he licensed to practice medicine, if it's public, private, whatever it may be. You check? You're supposed to have a structure so that people can understand, well, okay, boom, that is the merit, that is the, you check, your responsibility.
yeah.
You check in the same way with a citizen. We learn what it means to be a citizen.
Yeah.
You check? So, it's a whole set of overlap. But at the end of the day,
You see, the thing is now, if you notice with some of the bodies, when you see certain things happen, you hear the bodies speak out as a collective to protect their interests. You check me? So, whether it be against the government or whether it be against one of their own within, their ranks, they will protect their professional image and reputation collectively because they know the value of that. But when you have the let's say like the police not understanding that their reputation, their institutional image, the image of, just like Séwyè was saying, you have a situation where police on live media assaulting a citizen and then taking the citizen to court
but the
for
commissioner
obstruction,
the commissioner
So
The DPP alone
that
needs
is
to-
already tarnishing the image of the police force, you check me? So do you see any kind of damage control, any kind of, being addressed in any way?
Let me tell you,
No.
the thing about it is, see what is happening now, it has been happening long, it has been happening all the time.
Yeah.
But now, with we coming at the constitution and making people understand certain things, right now, it's like all of you saying authority, police is authority, it's like they in charge, what they say goes. And you hear man telling you, because like when you go to the college, man, I tell you, man, the police cannot just tell you cannot go on the compound of a public place, Dominica State College, where there's an office is open, office hours, working hours. He cannot just tell you cannot go there. You have to tell you why you cannot go there. And while he reason telling you, have to make sense to you. For if it don't make sense,
a school compound.
you check a school compound and use a tutor there.
It could be a tutor, it could be a
You telling you? So now he telling me, boy, the man is the authority, and that the man say, and it's so, and there is a man that is a tutor in the school saying that, you understand telling you?
Yeah.
Or intellectual, man supposed to be intellectual, that's telling me that. And me start checking like, jamais pas, you cannot tell me I can't go there. You have to give me a good reason why you tell me I can't go there, you know. Because it's a public place, Dominica State College, our place. Feel me? So long time them police been doing things, jumping, like a man say, a man, why you was telling us earlier, a man sit down there, man, the man go in a yard, search here, get a thing, calling the man in the yard, and telling the man like this thing and have the man in court. Those kind of, and man, like first of all, for you to tell me, get up there and tell me come in the yard, what for you madman? But there are people that don't know their rights, like there's an argument, the man is the authority, and when the man say, jump, the man say come on the block and just ramsack man, kick up man. You know what I mean? There's jump on man, there's do mashi, and they're still doing it, but now people understanding like that is bullshit. That's not how it works. So long I'm watching TV and the police come up and tell you have a right to remain silent. You have a right to understand. They're reading your rights.
Yeah.
And then that's what they're supposed to do, but my didn't happening up because
when they go to court, they tell the court they did it.
The man never do that. I never see the man do that in my life.
Because if you don't do that, nothing like it watch the thing from the start.
Yeah. They did not read me my rights.
It's the same thing like torture. Why you think that they have that thing against torture in the UN Convention? It's because torture is coercion under pain and thing.
Of course.
Under threat of his man losing his life. A man will confess to anything.
Yeah, man.
You check me? So them kind of prehistoric, kind of barbarian thing, them man need to throw that and pick up really real investigative skills and learn how to build cases against people.
So it come back to what we were saying when we were talking about how we're going to deal with the matter when we take on the government there. See what I'm saying? Once, what Tola said there, once you put the law and order in place. So what you have to say is like, you see the constitution, and man, when you give knowledge, people understand how it really works, like your rights and your responsibilities, then we will see. You understand the rules of the game? You will see when somebody violating, you violate, they're not right, what you doing there. So you have to.
In a 21st century civilization, we have no place for brutality.
You hear me? Yeah, I tell you,
when you talk about the fear of the law should be the fear of the truth, the light of truth. That is what the law represents. You check me? And that is what all criminal, all you know, all wicked things, they have to flee and fear that, the light of truth. You understand? Just imagine the wisest man, Solomon. 2 women come to him crying about a baby. Huh? One saying is my child, the other one saying no, is my child. The man say, well, cut the child in half and give each woman half. One say, yes, cut the child, cut her. The other one say, no, give, you know, and through that discernment, my brother, you check. So you see, is the truth cannot remain hidden. That is the thing that evil men fear. So if the police represent that, they have no need for brutality. That is why you see when Jadam and them man building case on you and they reach on your doorstep, no matter what big criminal you be, you have to start to tremble because you know they come in with They don't come in to beat you and kick you and thing. But you know when they come to you, it's your time.
Yeah, because they come and waste your time.
You understand?
They spend their time on you.
Yes.
Right. And that they do their work.
Yeah, they do
Most
their
of
work
the time,
already.
they did their work. Them police, when you want to beat man to talk, that means you don't do your work.
But it's coercion.
You do your work and you have to have passion for
It's
your
always
work.
in
Investigate.
this.
Let me ask you some questions. Let me ask you some questions and see how you understand me and see how I can, you know,
And you are no
trap
use to
you.
society when you
Do your
try me.
investigation. Don't come and to beat me to say what you want me to
have
say.
no honest
That what
pursuit
is
for
that?
truth.
What kind of, what is
No,
that?
we have
And you
all-
just want to intimidate. That is all you want. You get enough on intimidation.
That
You
is
get
basically,
enough
that
on
is
brutality.
basically like holding somebody ransom. Which I get like I hold me ransom and tell them to give you money because you have me. You'll do this and that if you get if you get X amount.
Yes.
Basically that's what you're doing when you're
Yes.
pitching a man to talk and say what you want him to say. No, you have to see, do your work, my brother, and do it with pride and dignity, and you know, have a passion for it. And yeah, man, I want to solve that case, man. You know what I'm saying? Magnum PI, and you know,
Yeah, man.
don't come and want to, yeah, don't want to come and beat up
Beat
man.
up, man.
My job is done. I get him to say he did it.
Yeah.
You get him to
Rubbish.
say he did it. You quave the man, but you make him man spit blood up and thing on him and boy, you get him to make two for him to say he did it. And you don't even know if he really did it. The real person that maybe do it, that do it. They are free up and go and do more.
Yeah.
You check I'm telling you? So man have to do their work and do trial, and that is what it is. And people now have to understand, like the brother when we go up there, Silver Ligament, I taken like last time I saw him was when they come and get us. When they take me and Buju when they come out, you know, when we had the first video. They put out there to read the letter he write for Scary there. Mister, I remember when they bring me and Buju once I had on the next side, I CID, whatever. Mister, they come here, Mister, and they have Mister in the room and questioning him and things like that. Mister checking like 3:30 in the morning, just come and just open, just knock his door and just come and get him 3:30 in the morning and tell him, and bring him down and tell him for robbery, go in somebody's house, he breaking up in somebody's house or whatever, and just bring him down at that hour in the morning and just have him inside the question him. And they question him and then they find nothing, they let him go. They just let him check his in and nothing happened after that, and you check it like you waste him and time from 3 in the morning, you don't do your investigation properly, that nothing came out of that, like what happens now? You just waste my time here.
No, that man just believe treating people inhumanely and somehow solving the problem or things. So you couldn't just call the man in or just go at the man and talk to the man at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning at his home. Ask the man the same 100 questions there. Fine, go back in the office and I find myself
Treat the man with dignity, my brother.
That is the man problem as
Innocent
police.
until proven guilty.
As the court say. Not the other way around. So you have to give everybody.
Proof of Adam, that is what he's telling me. Everything based. A lot of them things is based in science.
But you see, the same victimization, you know, with the, well, let me just start it that way. Let me just say, for my part, when I go and watch the thing up there, I feel for them people that displaced from the Longhouse fire. You check? Because understanding this situation is another situation to me of undue influence and coercion, you know, and abuse. You understand? Because you cannot tell me that I had something before. Huh? And there was a possibility that I could have rebuilt on my own. But through your help, I no longer have a place, and my head is resting on your mercy. You check it? And if I do sing your tune, I will just come to have nothing.
You stay, you like you?
That's a sick situation.
You're not free. You sell away your freedom.
Yes, well.
For what? For
No, it's not. Listen,
It's
that
one
is not
person-
selling.
They're not selling.
They're not
That's
selling.
robbing.
That is robbery.
That's a
That is-
robbery.
That is
Alright.
straight up abuse, brother. Because the people were victim already
Yeah, correct.
of a
And
fire.
you have a right.
You understand?
You have a right. That's your job as the manager of the country to assist citizens in
Desperate
despair.
situation,
in
brother.
despair.
The most needy.
And that's where you
You
come in.
understand?
That's your role and responsibility.
Yeah.
What I find here for growing up in the community last weekend, I have to agree with these people are being abused are being abused to support the government.
Yes, man. Bully.
Straight up simple English, my brother, being bullied
Yeah, man.
into seeming like they're supporting the government and don't have nothing to say about the problems that they experiencing alone.
Because imagine Bojo, before they come on the camera, when we reach in the spot, man talking, the way I see man talking and welcoming us and making us know, yeah. And then when the camera come on, I see man hiding. I checking like, you know, I expecting man to come forward and I see man hiding, man on try watching, I see man, I checking. Like so you could see well, they don't like the situation, they know, but they just like, yo, I work in NDP, you know, I can't allow to lose that because you also have to just hold my poo, I can't pull me, I have to hold my poo, man. Because you want to think of the place and next thing. You check it?
Yeah, boy. Yeah.
No, boy, you have to free up yourself, boy.
I love
Boy,
you, but
I'll
they're
kill you.
not
I'm
funny,
stifling
you,
you.
my
You have a poor man, you hold that thing that can kill you, my brother. You can implode. And that's what's going to happen to these people if you don't speak, Rasta. You're going to implode. You have you're hurting, you're in pain.
No, but now that I have a full tension in the neighborhood, my brother.
Because it's turning people against
Turning
each
people
other.
against one another and everybody in the neighborhood that small should be closer together for simple gains of material that ransom again.
Ransom way. Because you see, it's two sets of victims, you know, because it have the victims from the fire and it still have the victims from Maria.
And then
Because it's that happened there, you know.
Yes,
After
yes,
Maria, the refugees from Maria, the people seeking refuge,
took the
took
apartment.
the apartments, right? And because of that, they being victimized up to a day like today because their representative telling them
Not she
it's
put them
not
there.
she that put them there. My brother, just give the people their dignified life, give the people their lights and water, and build another apartment.
That's all,
for
brother. That's all. As simple as that.
For the people.
Yeah,
that,
because
that's in
you got
the
what you
fire.
gonna do. You
know what you gonna do? You gonna take
Take
out
them
the
out.
people that in there. I mean, people can be sentimental, eh?
Yeah.
So still again, like Pyro would maybe say, you have to be democratic. You have to think about how people might feel. You check. But what I saying, just build a better thing. Build
There are amicable ways to deal with this
the
situation.
situation. Of
And
course, my brother,
there are
rather than having
several.
people in
You
darkness
just
and no
remove-
water, it have school children.
Inhuman-
It has so many children
Inhuman-
living in that thing, my
You
brother.
said
I find for government with billions of dollars, a
That is
prime
a
minister in a
minimum.
$64,000 house a month.
You can do that, my
The
brother.
solution
You can do
of that
can
is
do
to
that.
me
You can do that.
it's simple. Build two apartments up there, my
Yes,
brother.
my brother.
It's like that
No,
not
they
rocket
say-
science.
no, what they're saying is,
That's a lot
Not
of money.
but here what this, one of the people says that they want to build another longhouse.
Another long house.
Let me try and understand
to
longhouse.
these people.
No, let me try and understand
Yeah,
the longhouse.
yeah.
The longhouse is the thing Emsol, right?
No. Yeah?
The thing Emsol on this side, there's what you're referring to as a longhouse. But that had no dignity, my brother. The thing where you can, that is what they're referring to as a long.
Yes.
No
Yes,
man,
but that I telling you,
Boy.
so who would want to go back in that, my brother?
Yeah.
no man. That is regression in life, my
Yeah,
brother.
You get the opportunity now to you come out from the longhouse
And
situation
it's-
to elevate. You could back
It's
and
not
put
that,
lo-
you know, Maggie, but just imagine you see anything built already.
Yeah. And
You see, you're
and
just
then-
about to
yeah,
go
and you
inside,
need-
and then Maria passed,
Yeah.
and then there's people that in
So,
desperate situation.
so wait. Let me understand. The people in the apartments going to leave the apartment and go in the longhouse,
Yeah, that's the
That is-
plan.
that is-
That's
or
the
the
plan.
people that outside
No.
are not in the apartment that were supposed to get the apartment.
That-
They're gonna mix it.
Let me tell you what happened.
They're gonna mix it.
Up.
Let me tell
It
you
have
what
a mix up. It have a mix up. Some of them that in the apartments
Let me tell you what
presently are for the apartment that they supposed to get
in
the
the
apartment.
apartment.
Some of them not supposed to.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what
But
happened.
because of the situation of Maria, after Maria they are homeless.
Yes.
So they just invade the apartment. You check.
No,
Now
those are
it have another 12 families that
Government.
need assistance. Some of them supposed to have been in the apartment.
Yeah.
You check. So them 12 man, these 12 families presently, the government renting places for them. You check me? Now,
Apartments for them.
Yeah.
the people that invade the apartment, some of them supposed to have been in the apartment. They have been punished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peter paid for all.
You check?
Boy, I don't
So
laugh
you
in that
have-
thing, Maggie.
No, I know,
I'm
but-
vexed about that thing,
You
my
have
brother.
those now. There are some of them.
You check? Because it
Not some of them.
Yeah.
No. There is no light in the building, no
Yeah.
water.
No light, no water. For
And you have a
years.
parliamentary representative
From Sis Maria.
telling the people that is not shit that
Send them inside there.
But you as a government, your job is to
solve
solve the issues of the
yeah,
society.
man.
So if that issue,
How
you're
you want-
supposed to sit down with the people,
Yeah, man.
come
Simple,
up with a
right?
solution
Solution.
simple.
Yeah.
for
brother.
everybody to come out comfortable.
Rastafari.
Nice.
That is why
Easy
I just
way.
always say we have a failed government which has failed our society.
But Shakira doesn't
The
represent the
prison
people, you know.
divisiveness, brother.
She was
Let me
paid to
tell you,
represent
let me tell you,
Roosevelt
what
Spirit.
happening up there is, what is happening up there is, when it got the long hours, and the fire come about, right? 12 families that were living in the long hours. This is what that caused the government to be renting apartments for them because of the fire that burned the place. You see the apartment that you see two apartments that are closer to the roadside. The two apartments that are closer to the roadside. Basically the one as you like you're driving up to Silver Lake.
Where we was there. Where we was
See
setting
where
up.
you see where we were setting up?
Yeah.
That one, that section and where that door have light and water. That is the area that have the long
Long house.
house.
Very long house was there.
And that is where the fire was. So people that were living there, they rented places for them. Eventually, the two in front set up face. So some of the people that was in the fire situation come back on the front, and some of them on the other side. The people that invaded the place after Maria is people that were living in their like private homes in the neighborhood. You understand? Because the other people they went from Baba State and wherever, probably Louisville or wherever they went for wherever they went. So when the hurricane comes, the people that invaded the homes is the people that were in the neighborhood already. DSF from Silver Lake.
Silver Lake, yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
That's why we're telling you, DSF are human beings. Obviously,
Survival.
everybody looking for survival.
Yeah.
Now the others they renting for most likely that's probably in a secret
Yeah, place already, yeah.
So these people want a place to live.
Of course.
So as we say, they just solve the problem. Or they say in $1 billion economy. Not build an apartment for the people and finish it as
Simple.
and give the people what they require, like their light and their water and their other necessities.
And most of all, their freedom to speak. Because when you play, when people depending on you,
when government do these things, brother, what we need to understand, that cannot take away your freedom of speech, because the ministers are not taking the money from their pocket to build the apartments for the people in Silver Lake, you know. Taxpayers' money that building that, you know.
Yes, they're not supposed to. But the people over there have been bullied.
remember the
Yeah,
people
because
are,
they
the
don't know
people
the
are
law.
children.
That have been the law.
That is the culture that has developed in Dominica.
Well, you're right up on that one too.
And
Them people are hostage, brother.
you cannot point at
Yes.
a government policy to really say.
Yeah, they have the people on stage and people not realize
You
it.
cannot really point at a governmental policy to say, well, government have a policy to pay people rent for them when they come out of the
Yeah.
check me. There is nothing in place to say, well,
It
to really
guarantees you
deal
check
with,
me.
you understand?
Yeah.
So you can still have
So
your
that you can
freedom,
still have your freedom too.
dignity,
Yeah, you
you
check.
can still have your pride. So they manipulate the system enough to victimize people, discriminate against people.
You see that why people have to like things in black and white. So they tell you they go into take care of you until whatever. Let them put it in writing
and sign it,
and sign it.
Yes, correct.
So then you can hold them to it. That way now, anytime they try and put you out or they try and tell you because you choose to speak out about whatever you're dealing with, then you can tell them, look, and you have a legally binding thing, you know, until all you give me my dwelling.
Legally binding agreement or contract.
Well,
Anyone of them.
See like all them now, yeah. At least, that's why they've been standing up for them.
so no has to concern the first one.
As you say, mentioning that, same way I was
Now I tell the people, nobody not looking out for them right now. They need to come together.
yeah, look for yourself.
And find that thing.
Yeah, man, and you have to bind, you have to bond.
No, but before we leave the community, and to speak about that sewage problem in the community of Silver Lake, and that there,
That is a hazard.
know that there is beyond words for the pilot to have recently been there, and that problem existing for, from what I understand.
So those are nothing before, you know. You see the sewage water now, but before it was the people that was coming up then the people, you know.
And
people that try and do something for their
for that to be there existing for a couple of years, and the parliamentary secretary, the parliamentary representative of the area, Shekira Lockhart, is doing absolutely nothing to solve the problem.
Let me cut it short. That is only showing those also do not have no representation.
Zero.
No longer.
I respect that. I respect that, Kodo. But what does that say about caring for
The
people?
whole structure of government have a problem.
Yes, I respect
because
that.
at the end of the day, to me, I always feel every community supposed to have the separate representation. And then you can culminate into a constituency representation.
Of course. Yeah.
Because see, who representing the community, who going and come and lobby for the community of Silver Lake, who going and come and do things on behalf. Because the way the government structure is just not structured in a way where you can have a discussion, in a way where you can deal with the issues. It's structured with one person just representing all these communities, and this one person, they're so political in their nonsense. Is like it's not even funny. So the people within their community have their representation, that they can say, okay, boom, Newton this side. Well, if it's Tola they choose, you check me. That is why we need to reform the government.
Yeah, you have to. That is
because issues in the communities are not being dealt with. You check me.
But what I say, if we do that, we'll still make the house to debate, you know, because
but that's what I say.
You have 2 years, you know, of debating the house on certain things, you know, making.
At
that time you have somebody to deal with the people issues directly.
So by the time we're ready to call elections,
when you have that, you have a wider, you can have a wider debate, a better debate. You check a more detailed debate. Then you still have local government. You check make local government stronger.
They dismantle that.
Yes.
They dismantle that.
But you see, that is what you were just talking about. Then that is the thing, that if the community have a need, they can put together their own project and come to the local government, which is the village council. You check me?
You want to go to church, you want to go to government, you want to go
decentralize the government.
Yes.
Because presently the government is concentrating all the powers.
Yeah, man.
All the authority, all the powers in one location. You check. And that's not good.
No.
You check. People know what is their problem. People just need guidance and the structure to deal with the problem. The communities, they have their problems, they find solutions. Put people to work.
Yeah, man. That's what I'm saying.
Communities productive.
Every community has to.
That is where the NGOs coming in, because the projects that coming from the communities can get the support of the NGOs, because it's community-based projects.
NGOs, government, all institutions.
So everything can be,
sector.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But I think so easy, my brother.
Easy,
All
my
these
brother.
people, the man come and do is just call them money, just come and tell pastor and call them money and just pull their pocket and look about nothing. So they don't even think about simple basic thing like that. And
Yeah,
like,
man.
But them simple basic thing like that will work against them, because
Exactly.
they know what they in.
Because they can be
crime.
the superstar they want to show the world they easy.
Yeah.
Remember now, if you have a next man, like a local government, and you have a representative of the community, all of a sudden people know actually who they can go to, how they can get their problems resolved. So the community would know how to deal with it. It's not one man just come and just say, well, come to me, man,
if he choose to help.
You understand? No, in a democracy, it's not if you choose to help. It's supposed to be helped. Because you're supposed to deal with the issues of the communities.
Well, I want to check you look at to deal with them people issue and solve that problem. Have billions of dollars, they say. It's not supposed to.
It would be nice to see a response, man. You check me if it's just for the sake of the people and the little ones that run in there. Because I see the barefoot there next to that thing, my brother.
It's for the sake of the people.
Of the little youth and
for the people. And people shouldn't be begging to have sewage removed from their children's feet, my brother, where their children playing. I have a problem with that. With that.
They don't see their own children.
No, it is not their children not living in that. Their children not in that.
So let me ask you, let me say something.
First of all, man, most of these people, the so-called elite society class we have in Dublin, virtually all of them, their children born overseas. Very few. Of these people, you will never hear or see.
As you're saying, Pyro.
Sorry, folks.
Yeah, when you look at the situation, right, very few of the so-called elite class of people in Dominica, the politicians, businessmen, very few of these people, children actually are born in Dominica.
And Dominicans.
You understand? By natural birth.
By natural birth.
Exactly. So by the time most of them man reach, we've been to school with a lot of them. By the time them man reach 16, 17, 18,
them man gone.
They gone.
Yeah, man.
We check. So to these people, how are they going to imagine their children in that situation?
Yeah.
They will not. They cannot.
They set up their children to win. They set up these people to fail.
And
all the people in them places there, they set them up to fail. And then they can come and see they can help one to play hero.
But you see, I went to go further, Maggie, that a lot of those children Pyro talking about have grown up and they make up a part of our population that are totally apathetic to the things that are going on. Because while we concerned about the future of our children, them man know they can fly out anytime. Them man, you know, while we there complaining, them man telling you, boy, come and take a drink, my brother. You check me, you just there.
Would you say it, you know, what about those who can't run, you know, Maggie?
Time to listen to them thing, you check I telling you.
Them man will listen to
And I was coming to say something like, okay, Shakira on the government side, you know what I'm saying? The government build the buildings, it's all right, and the situation is the situation, boom. But what about the other representatives, the other people that want to, like the opposition, people that go at same constituency, and the other people? You don't see an opportunity for them to come and see how they can assist that situation, assess it, and see how they can, you know, and that in itself would help them, like they say, score political point or whatever. You don't see that as an opportunity?
Given the power of the government, it's very difficult to help people on that scale. If you're not a foreign NGO, it's very difficult for the local people to band together to pull off certain things. It can happen, you know, for example, like the dailies back when the communities agree they go in and start clean up, and it forces the government to pitch in to do something about it.
Yeah.
It can happen because people can come together, pitching. But say the depressed economy, a business person cannot sponsor something, man, don't making money to do this, to do that, to say, well, let them let go charity in the direction, and it's difficult for everybody. So in Silver Lake, which is one of the smallest, tightest communities we go in terms of size and compactness, is it representing exactly what they're doing to us as a people, my brother, on a wider scale. That's just a micro example of the greater neglect of the whole of Dominica.
Yeah.
You put up apartment buildings around the island. Fortunate them people there can make shop in their apartment and check their vibes, so they can generate economic activity. So you still have a portion of people in apartments with no economic activity around them. You still have no sporting and recreational facilities for the children of that neighborhood whatsoever. You be in apartments around the island under the same vibes, no recreation for the children. All those apartments have sewage problems. What really all you people doing for Dominica, and what really Dominicans really paying attention to where their liberty and their dignity? Because in Silver Lake, that is, people have pride, and I know them people have pride and they want better for themselves. Every single one of them. And in no way the government truly helping those people to come out of the poverty that life start them off in, you know, my brother.
The situation, like what you said, right? What is the fundamental things that can rise anybody out of poverty?
Education and a good job.
What does the government provide in terms of education and jobs for the people, not just of Silver Lake, but for us?
That's what I'm saying. It's a micro.
Yeah.
So if you just speak about Silver Lake, it extends to every community. So you have no job opportunities that significantly pay. The people of Silver Lake, their best job is cleaning this side of the road for $600 for a month. Some of them people have 2 free children. 2 people in a house bringing in $1,200. What kind of an alleviation of poverty can such income levels bring? Now, you have a situation where the education of those children compromised by the school system. How then you helping them to come out of that poverty life put them in at the beginning?
There's no remedial system in the educational system right now.
And I think Flack would have say plenty here. And I don't know, as I speak in it in my mind. But Labour Party destroy manhood, my brother. The Labour Party destroy manhood. Because you have men that just absolutely cannot earn to provide shit. And a man cannot feel like a man if he cannot provide for his family. He demoralized. And there's a truly, and we use the word plenty for the night, you know, undignified position to be in.
What you want to tell that now? You know it feels when you don't have no money in your pocket. Boy, you feeling weak, like you feeling, boy, you have no independence, you cannot go and buy a thing, boy, go and check and see if I can tell a man, help me out, and that feels so dread. Boy, when you get a money in your pocket, and boy, you spill, boy, you got $400 in your pocket, boom, and you draw. Boy, that's like a curiosity, boy. Yeah. I have some money, I can buy a thing, I can pick, I can go make a shopping.
I got to go a little further with that point, motivate there.
Oh, I can imagine.
Compounded with that, you have a situation where you have adult male truancy. And I say in truancy in that the abandonment of responsibility, where fellas checking well to look good and smell sweet is everything.
Yeah.
And how much big man now you figure, because the woman now, through whatever means, sometimes you don't know, you know, how she providing the meals for that child, you know. But you figure she okay. So you yourself do, you know, you do participate, you do take up your responsibility. And it have a lot of that truancy outside there.
You have that as well, I respect that.
And the thing about it is, when you see you have that thing there of idleness. They say idleness is the devil work. So you have idle man, you know, they have no responsibility but themselves. And they just outside there, you know, living like big children, basically. Getting children pregnant, to check me, sell drugs, look good, and have no real value to society. You check, I telling you. And while you see us, we talking about Silver Lake, you know what I envisioning? The amount of children that up there, they should have it only to daycare. The women there, while you see they educating themselves, they should be, you know, have a little preschool, a little kindergarten right there, close in the vicinity, because through education, you alleviate poverty, because poverty is in the mind. Yeah. You check? Yeah. Then the men and them, when you see they empowered, they working, they bring in, you check? Yeah. They yourself can help to build agriculture, build little livestock thing in the community. And the water vibes in the situation. But I just say this, the whole sewage thing there, it have tradesmen in the community yourself that can address that situation.
Right, of course.
So tell me, what will be the solution for that problem there?
The human resource, and everything is there.
Yes, it's just finance the human resource.
Yes.
The people in the community can build 2 more apartments with the resources. The people are available. All the men up there are skilled construction workers. Yeah. So provide them with money and material, and a government technical leadership from some government outlet, and them man building up an apartment there, 2 apartments there that better than them Chinese thing in a shake. They're gonna have the dignity and the pride knowing that they, even if it's an apartment, they build their home.
You can do the earth moving for them. You check me, put a little, open a little, you know.
And they'll have a greater care in taking care of that building. You don't see the window of your apartment break. That's not the government apartment. That is your home. You build with your sweat.
Dignified.
Yeah, man.
And that is what we do have in Dominica.
Smaller thing, situation first. The sewage thing. The sewage situation there, right in front there, like, what that have to be done?
But the sewage problem in a more professional. I don't know where the sewage coming out from and things.
What should be done? Okay,
nobody can be solved. Engineers and assessors can become. It can be solved.
Before you solve it, you have to find out what is the problem.
Because I heard they drain it and next day it was full.
Yeah, one of the residents said, well, not one, a few of them will say that it was drained, and by the following morning it was back to the same situation. They can make assumptions. You can just only assume.
It can be assessed and repaired, most important, and the situation can be changed.
That is first you have to empty it out and assess exactly what is happening, where the problem lies. Because without you knowing what is the problem, you cannot fix.
But most important, it can be fixed.
Yeah, man, that can be fixed.
And
It's construction.
do you think that's a extraordinary complicated problem?
That you just
No, I
wanted
mean,
to come to that.
no, I mean, I ask him, he talking, but
Yes,
if he
yes.
think that is an extraordinary problem to solve.
To me,
Like a basic thing.
yeah, that to me, I not know engineer, I don't have no degree like pyro, but from what I know, I can see maybe the drain field that maybe not set up, and maybe the kind of soil they have there, you know, or it could be a water problem, the you know, continuous water flowing into the.
Don't make sense to assume about that.
No,
Yeah,
but
that's
just
okay,
something.
I just
Let's
say it off
verify.
the top of my
Let's
head.
go
as a
let's
layman.
go to the next situation.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's go to the next situation. The electrical and the water in the house. It's like what they say. It had it. It was there.
It was built in.
It's built in. So it did
Everybody
the whole
built the
thing.
apartment. So they built,
Everything in there, light and water.
Built it with
So-
the infrastructure to take electricity and the ability, the infrastructure to
So
take
it
the
wired up.
water.
It wired up and everything. And
So that's what
Yeah.
one of the residents was saying, that the building is wired. So it just doesn't have electrical supplies.
so where you going?
Well,
So probably
again.
probably. I don't know laughing, though.
It's
But I
not
reckon
like-
like that was a big problem.
Government don't want
For you
those
to get
people in those
electricity from
apartments.
government,
Yeah.
right? They need a certificate of title. So whatever arrangement the government have to do is done to ensure that the people get the electricity that they need. That is whatever.
On pause.
So the government most likely refusing to
Mad.
go forward on their end.
Man,
to check, because if the place wired, the people could go individually and get their electrical supply, but maybe a few go, maybe a few don't go, who knows. But at the end of the day, it's an arrangement that the government would have to do. Because it's an apartment complex, it's not like you say you have a certificate of title or you
Yeah.
have a certificate of title
Yeah.
and you can go to government and say, well, yeah, you want electricity on your property.
Yeah.
So in that regard, more than likely the government's supposed to make some arrangement for that. And
Simple
they're not doing
mediation,
it,
man.
you
Simple
think, so
mediation for that.
so the
Instead,
people.
the
That
parent
is
would
in
tell the people that she's not she that said them there. So at the end of the day,
Even I don't know. Them lunchbox finish, man.
at the end of the day,
Good ones.
it's us, it's we the people they check.
Yeah, man. The
So
people in
we
there.
knowing that kind of a thing is
The big
going
ones. Bro, much
on.
of them are
Supposed to take a stand and the
getting
government, do some protest, do something,
Yeah,
come together. We check,
yeah, man. Let's go.
come together, we check.
And
I
most
just find that
important,
is the injustice for
Yeah man, that is a,
for the community.
well, that is a
And you know the greatest injustice is for them fellas to come and put an apartment and make Chinese build it.
there is
Okay.
a blatant bullying of the people.
You understand? Come and put a Chinese to build an apartment, have man sit down there watching Chinese build an apartment, no work, no money, no income, and then rest of the day look apartment. That is destroying the neighborhood.
But Maggie, similarly, a similar situation in Silver Lake and Funkuli, which checked me while we on that. The lady was saying that they had a playing field, a recreational area before. And Maria, because of Maria, the river, you know, change it course. And but then what they do, they send the river back in its original course. But they haven't really do no, you know, rehabilitation on the playing field. But
That's what you're talking about. Silver Lake.
yeah, but Silver Lake. But what I say now, it's just like this. It's just like the situation in Funkole, where the playing field area where, you know, where fellas used to play, yeah, there was developed, and then no
other area was made, no alternative was given to the people. You check me?
No. That, you see, that now planning department. See, planning department. You see, government fail with the people. Planning department is supposed to be responsible for ensuring that all community have recreation.
Yeah.
That is a planning, a physical planning
Requirements.
Yeah.
Check that. Actually, is a regulation that was established with the establishment of planning. Planning is a thing that was established in the 1950s. I can remember right to check by a set of architects in Europe, and so they used to call them Team X or Team 10. You check them, man, were the ones that really spur the whole implementation of planning department in government.
Yeah.
And the regulation of established the basic regulations of planning. For instance, you're entitled to, as a human being, you're entitled to the connection of the spirituality, which would fall under the sports, which will fall in under that. Check, so that connection with nature and the whole vibe.
Yeah.
That is why part of the established regulation of planning is that every community, my brother, every urban development is supposed by law to provide recreation. By law. That is law.
Yeah.
So when you tell me Fokole used to have a playing field, but it was transformed or sold over because the property was private interest.
Yeah.
Planning supposed to ensure that the community continues to find some solution.
Yeah.
Having the community with some type of playing field.
Yeah.
Well, planning is the one man here.
Because we've been, I speak to the Funkule group. You know, they have initiatives from the UNDP or community projects like that. So I was, you know, I talked to them about maybe if they can find out more information about, you know, their basketball court and maybe other land in the community that they see that they can, you know.
Yeah, planning is supposed to deal with them. Planning and government and the whole government structure. Scared make yourself planning minister.
Most uneducated planning
But I
minister.
if you even know about them kind of a thing. Yeah, them one that's not qualified, none of the positions. So.
Yeah. Mondan yourself though have no playing field, and they had a little playing field down by Almoto side there. Same thing. Turn it into a trailer park, you check me. The other little field across from that, they use it to kick up the bus driver. You check, so
There is a park, I forgot the name of that park.
thank you.
There is a park in
Yeah.
Kingfield Urban Park or whatever it is. Some Kingfield Urban Park. Anyway. It's like them man coming.
Down South, they used to play football there and thing. They turned that into Dominica Strong.
How long you took back there, brother?
No. Them man haven't got no love for sport or community togetherness.
Yeah,
It seems like them man viewing. Let me just
we
finish.
have a chief physical planner.
Scared is the boss. That is all you will say.
A chief physical planner.
And he will say Scared is the minister.
Yeah.
You check. Yes, it's true the minister can override certain decisions. It's true the minister can do certain things, but that is you breaking the law to have a community without some type of recreation.
Wrongs, yeah.
It's illegal.
Yeah, man.
That is a crime against humanity.
Yeah, man.
You check.
Yeah.
See, like when you Guadeloupe. What you think in Guadeloupe? Every liquor sport.
Every 10 apartments building have a sport, have handball and basketball. Every 10 apartments, my brother, 20 apartments have
Yeah.
Basketball court.
Follow just petty power, man. We are the basketball court. Then you drive and bend the court over there. Them man are the basketball. No bend down there. Them man are the basketball and the handball court. Every 10, 15 apartments have a sporting, a little sporting.
I think those
human
societies, they understand the link between that.
Don't just understand, it's a human right. It's
Then,
part of your right.
I understand it's the human right, but let me tell you what I fundamentally see about that, my brother. No, first thing the man does do is coming. I don't want to say it like that, you know, but first thing the man does do is come in a community like, we need to do a project, we might have land, but we have land. Boy, the man playing football over, but to hear the man playing football over there, build that over there and the man go check their scene. No matter how small a field is, no matter how small a little basketball operation is, it brings man together. It brings the community together. And them man systematically have dismantled what pulls communities together.
Correct.
We have a situation, our house of culture cannot be finished repaired since Maria. That is putting the community of Dominica together on our culture. You don't the library pulling, like there are enough examples of where these guys coming in and just not paying any concern to what pulls community. No, because their aim is to destroy the community.
All kind of university and see library indoors and what. Here we have a library with a nice little garden around it, trees, whatever. You check me.
Brief some natural,
Brief some, sit down under a tree, read
so
a book.
The ocean right there,
you know.
See, is important, you know.
But like you
nice
say,
sports, nice building. You have to them. Hey, that's I'm glad you. That's a good thing in Rasta. Dear boy, that's a historical. How parents say they like in school. A monumental thing.
Brother, again, them man haven't got no respect for nothing but stealing our money.
That's it.
You can't have a building, I think library is 18 somebody.
Yeah, man.
To be in that state, my brother, I don't give a pat at rat's ras for young fixing whatever. That place need to be restored to its fullest glory.
But look at what they do to Paris or Venus.
No education. Dominica doesn't have no governmental body, entity, department that
for preservation.
Historic preservation.
Well, we need to
wait, hold on. It had people in Roseau that wanted to upgrade their house and they come.
That's still not a government department. That's ship. No, that was ship. Nobody will stop them.
We're ship now.
No, ship still there.
But
and ship still about history and preserving our thing.
They were given an incentive to preserve their buildings.
Yes, okay.
No. That is what you see. Like for instance, them man had put in some urban regulation. You could have zoning laws, for instance, right? Create a historical center of the city. Urban historical center. Huh? Although you see in the building, mashing up buildings around Roseau and there's building, new buildings.
Like Jarry's house, boy, in Venus Guest House,
with no integration with the architecture and even the urban layout. You check me? So, within the urban context in itself, right? So you basically violated the urban context.
Yeah.
And then, but in the whole violation of the urban context, you have what you could say, basically create new expansion. So instead of you having to build a building in your historical center, most countries will go, your historical center is for preservation. So that would show the growth of your society, the growth of your city, the growth of your culture, the growth of your people. So you see, okay, in 1600s, that is the type of house and scene. Boy, more and more it go. You see new layers. So the city itself expanding outwardly. art form in itself of architecture, urbanization, and so on, different representations. Because see, like when you're watching it on old school, there is a representation, stonework and everything. That you don't see that no more. Right? But you can connect it, you can see it, you can say, well, okay, boom, there is a building that was built by slaves. Which is the building of
somebody,
So that definitely was built in time of slavery. That was built by slaves. So we know them things. And then as you're going along, you see other buildings that looking different, but you can see that they're not from this era, they're from a different era. And you can see how the things going. If you look up Newton next to Foxy Bakery, there is a wooden building there. Them Robert sighted. You can see them buildings. They're different. The culture, the took. Well, because when you talk about the culture is not just dance and singing. Art, architecture is a form of art, it's an expression. And
yes, brother.
See that? Every person must live in a building, must live in a house. You will hardly find people homeless, like you say. So in living in a house, living in a dwelling place, living in a building, it going to represent who you are, it going to represent a certain part of your imagination, which you're going to find a way to represent it. The elements you might use, the way you might do the columns, the way you might do the corners. And as time going by, them elements changing. You check, so different era, you use different elements, you use different forms of expression. You check.
Different things might influence you.
Sometimes now you might have persons that have, how we say, certain might have a better understanding of what beauty really is in the whole architectural aesthetics and laws and so on. So you might get a certain some type of expressions, you might get certain types of architecture within the whole movement. You have modern, you have different things, you have deconstructism, and you have so these are a whole set of things, but it's just
sometimes
like
you can come there in a place and you can, just by this way of building design, you can say that was influenced by that particular,
you can
from
that
Russian influence. And
because you can watch it and see
you can just watch it and see
so
it
guess
in the
what?
design.
So guess what all you're saying there?
Yeah.
That's all you're saying now there. Guess what's gonna happen? If we don't do something now to stop the rubbish that's going on with them Chinese and them building what they want for us, 20 years down the line, people will come and watch what's going on. They don't go and see the history of Dominica. They're going to see, like when they watch, they're going to see what we went through with Chinese take over, whoever, and just build what they want for us.
It will be the history.
It's not just Chinese,
just wouldn't be.
but you have people
our
like,
history, it will be.
Yeah, it's not just the Chinese,
more
because
and
you
more
still have
Yeah, MMC building them apartments, them out of place apartments.
Yes.
And it's not just Chinese. You have people like Skerrit and them, man.
Yeah.
You check, them man stealing millions of dollars, and then they're doing buildings in town, mashing up.
Just buying property and mashing them up and just doing things.
And there is
mash up the history. Mashing up the...
no limit to it. There's no restriction to it. There's no control to it. So the expression they're using, first of all, most of their work, well, virtually all of their work is being done by foreign architects. So you cannot even say it is a representation of us as a people, as a society. You check, that is not even our architecture, that is not even our normal form of representation. So when you look at those buildings, see, like for instance, the State Palace. State Palace was designed by Chinese, built by Chinese. You check. If you look at any other building in Dominica, can you find a building that relates in terms of the architectural representation elements, the architectonic elements? You have them huge columns, They check the entablature, all them different things. They check the corners. So all them different elements there is not things that normally used by Dominicans.
Yeah.
You check, you will not see that those elements in a Dominican style.
But just look at the signage on the hospital and the two owls and them things there. You check. Just look at the bridge, the 2 dogs on the bridge. You check. So lick by lick is the more they develop, the more they're you know they're stamped basically.
Yeah. And all those buildings replaced a building that was they all replacing something.
Now, how are you going to call a Dominican man to do repairs on a Chinese building? You're going to have some maybe. So you're going to have to limit it.
The repairs not really a problem. I mean, it's not like you say them on building no state of the art modern buildings in Dominica where you're into some bio-architecture where you have a facade moving by there and you have I don't have that. So it's just his construction has not changed from since the concept that was brought up by the Egyptians in the building of their temples, where they use column, beams and slab. That has not changed by the speed of the time. On construction has not changed from since then, from since the days of Egypt. The concept of building columns, beams and slab, that was invented by the Egyptians to build their temples. It was taught to the Greeks and the Romans and so on, and then it went down and on and on. But that was invented by the Egyptians, and that has not changed. So fundamentally, the construction remains the same. But I mean, in modern times now, you have different things. So you have intelligent buildings, smart homes, smart buildings, solar shading, fins. I've not seen a building with movable fins in Dominica. Okay. Ministry. Okay, you see, ministry. If you look at ministry, you see they have some vertical elements above the windows, those concrete elements above it. There is fins, there is solar fins. Well, let's call them fins, just fins. But they get to provide solar shading to provide that protection from the sun. That is their function. Check, so you wouldn't have that impact of the sun in the building and on the face of the building, so it will be more energy conservative, basically. So that is the function of it. You have not seen no building in Dominica with movable, operable things where automatically it closes or it shifts or it's open to allow for sunlight or to disallow the sun, prevent the sun. No. So Dominica doesn't have any smart building. No shading, no nothing like that. It's just basic construction. So yes, they come and they try to make it seem like as if it's so much of a complex thing. What complex?
But you see, I would have liked to see more open concept in the designing of them apartments. You check me because you have, I see in some designs right now, you have areas in the center, you know, where you have plants and trees.
An atrium. You can have an atrium where you can have, for instance, interior,
especially in city areas,
you check? An interior court.
Yes, all that too. Yeah.
So, but who designs those apartments? Who are the ones designing those apartments? So,
I some cheap
there's
shit.
no competition.
I some cheap shit getting overpriced so the man can just hold all the $1 million change and share it among themselves And
because there's no tendering, there's no competition, there's no nothing, there's no...
Yeah.
Like to say, if you say, okay, boom, you make a design competition, huh? You set up the
that would be
criteria and you open it to the public, or
Yeah.
you open it to architects, you open it to designers, whatever it may be. You create a competition, you get people involved, you get the society involved in what, in what
no.
is the society, what is ours. So, boom, you have a set of young architects, young draftsmen, young designers. Man come, they sign up to the, or if it's open, however they want to do it. But they have to create the criteria. So if you say, okay, you want to do a building, if it's 5 floors, 10 floors, if it's X amount of square footage, whatever, you create the criteria. If you want a certain outward expression, if you want the building to represent a certain type of philosophy, a certain type of movement, a certain type of vibes, you put that in the criteria. So within that to make your decor, your design. There's a criteria basically. So from that now, you as the designer, the architect, or whichever you may be, you come up with a concept. Okay? So if you make a, if the man had say, well, okay, boom, we have some apartments to build. Let us create a competition and include the Dominican public to be able to rise in the ranks, to allow a young person to gain some level of notoriety, some level of success, to be able to more inclusive in the society. So you create a competition.
Not just that, but you can get notice on the international stage because somebody can see what boy that designed there and thing, and they can come and they can look at it, you know, actually.
You know, so it is a form, all them things is ways of engaging the public, engaging the communities, engaging with the people, getting people involved in what is our development, us, So instead of just saying, boy, because really and truly, none of them buildings, my brother, not buildings that we're not capable of designing. Not one of them buildings. None of them things. None of them things is not known.
But by the way, I want to keep you.
These are bigger buildings and them things are.
I want to keep you talking. You check me, hear that? So I know you're a man. You study in Cuba and thing, and I I was watching the program, you check, and I heard that this not really the stipends are really concerned about what the situation might be with all people them in Cuba. You just me if they really, you know, and as a man that has been
I spent 6 years in Cuba. Right.
So seeing what you see in the media and give me your perspective, bro.
I'll tell it to you. I spent 6 years in Cuba. I spent 1 year in a city called San Fuegos and 5 years in a city called Santiago de Cuba. That is where I did my degree in architecture and urbanization. Right? Now, Cuba is a society that, boy, how I can put that? Cuba is a society that basically stuck in some level because Cuban economy runs on 2 separate levels. You have the national economy, which is basically geared towards the locals, and you have basically the US economy, which is geared towards foreigners. So Cuba uses 2 currency concurrently to separate. So basically, in one form, it is a discrimination against the Cubans because they cannot afford the US economy. Straight up. The monies they work for, they just cannot afford the US economy. Now, the US economy is mostly geared for people like myself that were students and tourists. Because only and like even for the students, you can live off the Cuban economy. But the Cuban economy have a lot of scarcity. With the US economy, you can get every and anything you want in Cuba. Anything you want is available. And that is where the hypocrisy in the whole governmental system of Cuba goes along. Right? So the people have been discriminated.
In their face, but they cannot afford it, they cannot have it. They can just see people for something.
It's a real repression. Right?
Correct.
It's a real repression. Right? So
Correct.
But to live on, frankly, the 900 US that is given to the Cuban students on a yearly basis is not enough. Me, when I studied in Cuba, I had to still took a loan to supplement the check. Plus at the time, them man had cut off the stipend. But it's not enough. That's just not enough money. 900 US for the entire year. To think of the
and you will be able to work up there because you're a student.
You're on a scholarship, you have a full scholarship.
So then asking me, so how were you able to pay your loan then? Somebody was taking care of your loan?
Yeah.
I don't want to ask you like personal stuff.
Yeah man, my auntie mostly helps me with nothing. When I come to Dominica,
so you have to have somebody, so the PM suggesting to people to take the 2% loan at 8 bank. Yeah. They would have to have somebody that would be able to help you with that. Yeah, so if you go on your own.
If you're on your own, I don't know how you're going to do it. If you have a money saved somewhere, you can. But it's a whole situation, especially when you graduate, you come home and nothing. You still have to leave Dominica and go and check. All the time, you check.
And Flaco said thing there, and that is reality at the end of Flaco. When you say about you have the US economy and the Cuban economy, and the Cuban and Canada for the US economy. My brother, that on our doorstep,
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's on our doorstep, my brother.
But just now think of it, you order in a thing right now 100, maybe 50 US, and time it reach there you have to pay 100 and something $200 to play.
See the situation with our land is going in Dominica.
Yeah, I'm thinking about.
So you see all that.
Correct.
Right now, land itself is being sold basically at US price and mostly geared towards foreigners.
Yeah.
Right down.
The check is not really based on
the basic source of wealth.
Where the government supposed to ensure that the people can have access to the land. Instead, you're taking away the people land from them and put them in apartment buildings.
With no atrium. No breeze to pass.
Yeah, the architecture is not representing the communities because when you look at where we live in, there's a lot of. We live in the tropics, you check. The tropics requires and calls for a lot of exterior activity. You check. That way, that hot, humid climate, you check.
But imagine when them Chinese come.
If you look at the apartments don't really have no real communication, exterior, interior, like you would have a veranda or balcony or something, even a sunroom or something.
What they have
is the glass. They have these fixed glass windows or openings.
Yeah.
You check me? But it's not allowing for breeze, it's not allowing for. That is something you would implement in a more colder climate. You check where you want to conserve heat. But in a climate like ours, where you want the ventilation, you would try to avoid using those type of solutions in an apartment complex. You check. So
And just my little observation, but I was thinking it would take it would have been a good initiative. But during the implementation of those apartments, especially considering that they were low income and a lot of the people, that's what they think they were quote unquote low income. And there were people, that you would have to, at least make them 50% solar. Would at least,
Yeah, and
the lighting inside of there, put it solar, and then you will have the dumb like grid for all the
what they call it, it can be,
so that way even if
grid type,
even if you can't iron the child clothes because dumb like you maybe can't put the pay as you go, but the child can do a homework. Your child can telling you because it have lights there.
It's grid type, you can make it grid type.
We still thinking people can have candle and lighting candle in them apartments.
And what you say in
and no fire escape in them thing,
I was wondering, I was looking for it the other day.
What do you think about it?
Tell me, Byron.
Not fire escape.
No, but what you're saying before.
Well, what you mentioned about the energy consumption, right?
Yeah.
The whole electrical storage and renewable energy. Yeah, it is like you say. We say we are the nature island of the Caribbean, of the world. And we have not seen that type of movement, in terms of policy and even application within the government for renewable resource implementation. So you have them apartment buildings, which is government projects, and you have,
Yes, man.
to set the ground, you check to set the stage and to make it, you check the most. I've heard anything about resources, renewable resource in terms of anything like that. They've in Parliament somewhat 100, but they give duty free on electrical vehicles or something.
I hear that.
But what about houses? People talking about vehicles, but buildings consume
more
than vehicles in terms of burning fossil fuel. Because buildings, it has been estimated traditionally that buildings take up about 60%
of the
of the energy requirement in terms of burning fossil fuel. So, and then you have to burn before the electricity, you might use burn diesel and so on. Then you're looking at cooking gas and them different things there. So we can do better, man.
That tying in with my earlier point I was making about diversifying energy, because you see, even if you have a grand plan, and that's how I think I want to think it. Right thinking mind. A right thinking mind. You have this grand scheme or grand plan to invest in geothermal. Now the overheads to invest there alone ensures that when the returns start to come, the consumers will be the last people to benefit. Couple that with we do own the grid for distribution. The people that invest in the bulk of the money.
Even if they have the geothermal thing, you could still
diversify in order yeah, man, of course.
Incentives.
Like
I was saying, solid waste.
And how many years
millions and millions.
Solid waste, the was
how many years that has going down the drain?
Yeah, man.
So we can be doing that, we can try the other ones over there.
Listen,
that is another fact, my
should
brother.
have a hydropower initiative, my brother.
Yeah,
all you moving water all over the country, my bro. All you're supposed to be producing energy, or at least exploring the exploration, the possibility.
No, that was part of the same thing I was talking about last week when we talked about the university research and development.
Yeah.
So even You have an entity like, for example, Duasco. Duasco is about hydraulics. And
Yes.
if you have a hydraulics department, for example, you have hydraulics. Normally hydraulics falling in the construction, so you would have hydraulics, civil engineering, architecture, most times as one department.
Yeah.
So the thing is, like hydraulics, you are scoping, tapped in with
University. Yeah,
do
man.
some research.
Of
As
course.
to how you can
Of
make
course,
it more
brother, but
efficient,
that's what-
how you can.
Yo.
So that is why.
And that's
when
where
you
our
talk
children
about-
should be, brother.
Yes.
That's where our-
empower ourselves, empower our communities to check. So even with the energy, the whole energy. See Costa Rica, my boss. Costa Rica is 100%. All Costa Rica energy comes from renewable resources.
Yeah.
You check 100%. I think it was done by the free. I think that 2 years ago. I can't remember exactly, but Costa Rica tends to be 100%
Yeah.
renewable energy.
Yeah.
Right there in Central America, the
But look,
Caribbean.
same kids right there setting up to have the biggest solar farm in the Caribbean right now.
Bro, geothermal project
How much years that going?
is, I don't go in and say it's a fraud, because based on the research and development, we can do geothermal energy. This was designed to take a lot of time, a lot of investment to rob us as a people.
So I think that was just a malconceived future. That was just ill-conceived.
I still believe that, as you say, with proper investigation, the fraud of that project and the magnitude of the fraud
That's
will,
Well, I say the road to hell is paved with good intention.
yeah, I believe that is a fraud.
So, if you know you don't have the capacity as yet, you have to build it from scratch with your own solid waste. You understand? And your own solar farms and your own small scale projects. But you want to, but you see,
That project design is still from us, my brother.
To just be just big money, just to
Remember,
fool people.
the man have the geothermal company,
Yo,
blah blah blah, with whoever and whoever,
them a
government,
serious
what
bad
government.
energy,
That design
apart from
to act still from us, my brother. The man never have no good intention. That is clear to see. Historically, it has been proven that nothing the man implement has never had good intentions behind it. You're talking about we spent close to 100, if not more than 100 million EC dollars.
that could easily build a dam.
And
What about solid waste?
forget solid waste for a minute. That is complicated things you're going down in, and
no
complicated
complicated,
depart.
my brother.
Solid waste is for throwing rubbish in Dominican mine. That is we complicating your mind.
Okay, brother. Go ahead.
We had $100 million worth of money to invest in electrical supply.
Yeah.
We have wind. We could have probably a wind turbine is maybe, I don't know. We could have put a 10 wind turbine on the back coast over there on that money. We could have, as Pyro say, reinforced miracle. As a matter of fact, we could build it from scratch now on that money and have change.
Yeah, man.
Them man intention was to just drag time.
Drag it.
Maybe they would have been in power, not been in power, but a portion of money spent on geothermal, the kickbacks, the whatever, don't establish and get back. Project that they don't get all the money. That just designed for, that's a fraudulent project from the get-go. I never have faith in that.
You have to prove yourself in small things before you go in big things.
You telling me, I'm telling you, it have to have a reinjection line passing over Trafalgar Falls. Whose imagination is that, my brother? for you to think about that as a minister of government and check, yeah, I can stand up there and imagine a pipeline passing over. Like, you crazy, bro.
You building an economy where you say the heart of the economy is supposed to be based on tourism. We say we are the nature island of the Caribbean.
Crazy.
Nature island of the world. One of our main tourist attractions is in the valley.
No,
The valley
the main tourist attraction is Roseau Valley. To risk a 1% damage to Roseau Valley is more than too much, my brother.
Bro, it's not even a matter of risking the 1%. You check. But what I say, Roseau Valley is where you're going to have, not going to, but that is where you have your our main tourist attraction is in the valley, right? So you want to keep it as natural and untouched, unspoiled as possible, right? Any intervention that's supposed to go in there supposed to be something
complementing the nature, the naturality of it.
It's like an analogy, like it's an analogy. So it combines it, it does blends in, like an invisible something. So now, remember, Dominica, how many volcanoes?
Yeah, man.
So you have how many other places you can go and experiment with where would not mess
with that tourism program. Yeah, and you choose
that just was designed.
You don't even risk it. You could go a spot where you could just blow up a thing, do a thing, and don't even have to worry about upsetting the whole
balance.
Just like you went to park, smash up the stadium and in Winter Park to put a stadium. When you could leave Winter Park and put a stadium anywhere else. So we'd have two. We'd have the stadium from Warner and we'll have Winter Park.
You know why I just be so adamant about the thing, about the solid waste thing? Because you see,
no, you're right about it.
You see, the close proximity of the generator in Funkule to our landfill is why the logistics of it in Riotin. You have at least 2 big sheds on the landfill site for power storage, battery for power storage. And then you're retrofitting the biodigester where the methane gas coming through to an engine that burning the excess, burn it and generate so many applications. Not just that, after the material breakdown, that is compost that you can provide to the farmers. You check me, organic compost. Not just that, policy now you can come on the case of the restaurants. You check me, the hoteliers. You can put new duties on the environmental thing and the police to enforce that people separating their so then we can then grow into a society that understanding the link between us separating our compostables and our energy. You understand? Because unless it do evolve in the mind of the people, you can do what you want, my brother. It's not going to change.
They will. In the university class, they saw them and stand fire.
You check?
And them, so
then when it reached like that now, then you automatically addressing the rodent problem. People talking about rats in the city. They making calypso. Rats, you check me? Rats in the city. Where the rats going to eat? When people, you check me, that helping with the health situation. So we have to see how everything is a mesh and everything.
Because see, like what you say, right? I just watch. Sometimes I walk into Roseau and I watch it on Roseau. some parts of us really stink of
Yeah.
really, my brother. Right? You can actually see the build up in the drains. Now, it's a very simple thing to fix it.
Yeah.
Check, and it just requires, like for instance, planning, putting in, for example, restaurants must have grease trap.
Yeah.
Because automatically there is employment that plumbers.
Employment.
Plumbers go
Yeah,
and
man.
get work automatically.
Yes, boy.
You check me? Because for you to implement the grease trap, you must hire a plumber to
Yeah.
put that in
Put
for
them
you.
thing in. Yeah.
You check? But you also taking care of the environment one time.
Yeah.
You check? So it's a double thing. Then you must hire people to do inspection.
Yeah.
So it's like as if I just watch everything and I just wonder sometimes if government doesn't even have any policies because you don't see no engagement to say well. Let's see Erica Pass mash, destroy and damage 90-something% of the building.
Mario.
And planning to employ not no new inspector, not no new architect, not no new officer. Planning does continue with the same capacity.
Yeah.
But
No
you tell
growth,
me
man.
you have 90-something% damage where you
Yeah.
have to look after now and deal with. And you responsible, you planning, responsible for by law for dealing with how much of that situation. But you maintaining the capacity you had from primary and it was already
String.
yeah. So what's going to happen?
Yeah.
And then you say we're building back a resilient, the most resilient country. Come on. Who that ensuring that?
Yeah.
How you can ensure that?
I tell you, when the first strong wind blow, you see the disaster, you know the
Who
disaster.
ensuring
Yeah.
that those buildings they are resistant, those roofs they are
Let
built to code. Huh?
this wood and the block resilient.
Yeah.
Boy, anywhere to draw down money is Labour Party.
Yeah. I want
Resilience is
to
a resilience is a way to draw down money.
man.
There is on that money. Geofarmer is a way to draw down the money somewhere.
Yeah,
They
man.
on that word.
Yeah, man.
Now whatever it takes to draw down the money to steal the
man.
money,
Correct, you're correct,
that is what
brother.
the man about.
You're correct, absolutely correct.
Because let's face it, let's face the reality. You have numerous development plan, and I even make the joke at I make a time that my scared I've been workers a manifesto in my drivers putting out a picture every now and again and I implementing something. Man, you understand?
Yeah.
I get me at running things. When I do a thing, is me that in charge.
Yeah.
Bro, Labour Party, scary cabal, have absolutely no good intentions for nothing they do in Dominica. It is all about setting up a scheme to touch on Dominicans.
Everyone's proved that already.
But I'm telling you, so nothing anything you can think of they try to do is a sleight of hand. The magician put your eyes over there so you can slide the other thing you don't see for him to make the trick
Well,
work.
I was watching a program, right? So they're showing you some of the strongest economies in the world. Check. So you had Sweden, well, some of the Scandinavian countries, Sweden and a few other. But you had countries like what they call it like this. The last time I had seen it, them man had come to Jamaica.
Singapore?
Right, Singapore. You think it was in the 1950s or 60s, I can't remember exactly. Them man came to Jamaica. For Jamaica to assist them to get out of poverty. Singapore, my God, too big.
Jamaican poverty. Singapore on top.
Huh?
I
What's
said
the
today,
situation?
it's still
Singapore
around.
is an island smaller than Dominica.
Yeah.
With a population of about, how much I think, it's 5 million people or something like that. Singapore have one of the highest per capita in the world. You know what them people check with? The government. It's basically illegal for the government to just take money and just invest it in things that have no return.
Yeah.
Them man have laws against that.
Well, you see.
So you have to invest in things that can return.
Cash.
No,
Yeah.
you see that? Pyro, transition that.
You check.
Transition that, Pyro, to us. And I can tell you, well, let me paint the picture for you, eh? Same thing I was talking about there. We have an MOU with Petro Caribbean, my brother. Nobody know what in the MOU. Hold on. Right? So we know from last I heard we have a debt to Petro Caribbean. Last I don't know how factual that is, but
We had $100 million debt as of Maria, which was pardoned by the Venezuelan government. A debt which has been denied up until that point by the government officials for more than 10 years. Reginald Austria was adamant.
yeah.
We never had nothing for Venezuela.
Okay. So let me continue. We, even if them man had robbed Petro Caribbean blind, we would have already paid back their debt. You know why? Because while we are asleep, not putting pressure on them for lower energy, we, each and every one of us, paying fuel surcharge. And where the fuel surcharge going to? Where the diesel, where the fuel that we paying, where it coming from? Petro Caribbean, my brother.
No,
So as long as that generator in Funkole and wherever they have it keep running, it is in their interest. Because we, while they taking, we paying it back. Okay? So when Buju say that over the years we have slipped back, we have regressed from being hydro to coming back, being dependent almost completely on petroleum, we have to ask ourselves, is it by chance or is it deliberate?
That's deliberate, bro. That's a government policy to earn money on the backs of the people. It is not just a Labour Party situation.
And then they vilify Domlek, you know, knowing full well, like Buju say, that Domlek has no monopoly on production, only distribution. So we will cry about Domlek, but we will not hold our own government accountable when they have statutory bodies there that can be exploring energy production. So you see, all those things are supposed to be debating in our parliament, but our people, we stick in caca mode. Later will never be this. But all our business staying behind.
So who drive the money for fuel surcharge?
Petro Caribbean,
I don't know.
is there the diesel coming from, you know? You check me?
I don't know how it breaking down on that electric and who drawing the money for the fuel surcharge. If it's Domlek, if it's the government,
But
if it's Petro Caribbean. No, we have to clarify that one, man.
But
As
so
to
there-
who the fuel surcharge going to.
I mean,
That's what I asking him. That's why I asking him.
No,
Who is
Minister,
Petro Caribbean?
to generate.
No, we have to clarify that. That
to
particular
generate the
one.
power. Well, we can do that, you know. We can fact check in.
We'll fact check. You have to get it. Not to. We have to get that. Yeah.
you have to think about it logically. I mean, Domlek is a private entity,
Yeah,
so they most likely buying
yeah.
the diesel from
Petro Caribbean.
Petro Caribbean, exactly. But no,
So Domlek are charging us the fuel surcharge.
But see that.
Exactly.
But see that Petro Caribbean now, it only supplying owner. basically fuel now. Not just basically them like we and government vehicles.
No, man,
But what about the other fuel stations and them now? Would they pay the fuel surcharge?
No, they not. Remember, the fuel surcharge we're talking about is on the energy production.
Yes, but see that I can tell it to you now.
Yes.
The gas stations and them like NP gas station, then Newton, Suki. Every gallon of gas is selling, no more that is
less than $1 per gallon.
okay.
Only $15 at the owner
you know much
of the gas station gets more than
you know much
$1.
government receiving from every gallon that sell.
Government are 80% of the dollars in the
Goods and things. All those costs they're going to go down. So now, as a policymaker, you cannot go to Domlek, which is a private company, and dictate to them.
Well,
But as a policymaker, you can say, well, you can negotiate now because you have your own bodies producing energy, and now you can come and negotiate with something,
well, not really.
you know. But
The thing about it,
correct me, Byron.
government is the policy makers, but they also the regulators.
Well, yeah.
So they're supposed to be responsible for regulating the industry. So it's a double-edged sword.
All them things we need to is exploring, and we need to be discussing them.
Yeah, I mean, yes,
more
you're
than-
right. It's discussions that should be having, and that is where
I mean,
a lot of part of our society has really
Yeah.
fallen short. Because
Yeah, man.
a lot of things we should be discussing is not things that we hear being discussed. So that is why that's it. You need more, you need inclusion. Without inclusion, you don't have a democracy.
Yep.
Which and people have to be understanding that, yo, you come, you make your contribution and you move along.
yeah.
So it's like, yeah, we come, we do what we have to do with our part. And set the grounds for next set of man.
Yeah, man.
Set the
Settle
grounds,
some bush.
leave it for somebody else to check. Because you can only do so much. You check me? You can only carry it so far. You check? So, yes, today you might be facing a particular problem. You try it a couple of times and it's not working. You cannot find the solution. You have to be willing and understanding enough to say, boy,
Give me a back eye,
yeah, you know, let an next man
come on.
take
yeah,
our
pass
part
on
it, you check, and step back
Yeah,
and allow
yeah.
somebody else to deal
Yes,
with what you have feel that. You check. check. So, yes.
Unless you really just want that position so it can benefit you and you don't care if the problem solved, but once you good. And
Yeah, what we have
that-
now is them man don't care about the problems. Them man is so money.
Klepto.
Yeah, very kleptocratic society.
Still first and try and then worry
Them man
about.
doesn't try and fix nothing. Them
Man fix nothing.
them man thing is patch.
No, that man is magician, my brother.
What?
Sight of hands, them man does do. When a man do something, it's to
Sometimes I
mama.
just imagine it different. I just imagine that maybe, you know, like they hire you to do an honest work and you just go and end up and put yourself in some fuckery and now the job have now a kind of protection now. So you know anytime you see you know, so you have to stay there now. You check me by all means, you know, matter if you destroy the freaking you check. So why you have to do that and put yourself in that position, boy?
They want to give the country smash and millions of, as long as they stay in power, and as long as they are the ones that can say yes, because that gives them the authority, that gives them the position for them to be able to rip the country dry, steal as much as they need, steal as much as their heart desires. You check me? And to hell with the rest of the people. You check me? Because at the end of the day, none of them, man, children born Dominica, my brother. If you had any intention of being a true patriot to your country, you would ensure that your future is
and not
set
just
in the country.
not just
But
that.
you already done set your future for next land.
You
so
would be
today or
able-
tomorrow, you get yourself in some
You
kind
would
of
be
a thing.
able also, Pyro, to show people leadership in the opposition, in the position of the opposition.
Yeah, in all them positions,
Yes,
not just
brother.
opposition, in all of them.
Because if you're free to leave power, what? What you know I telling you, my brother?
And that what I was
Then
saying.
you can demonstrate your prowess on both sides.
Both sides, yeah.
You
Just
check
like,
I telling you?
just like the situation I taken, like, even if that side don't deal with it, the other side shows you to deal with
You
it.
check I telling
I
you?
check, like, let's deal with that, my brother.
Balance.
Because I check in, we can deal with that. So if we can deal with that, why can't you deal
And
with
it's
that?
the same inclusion.
Yeah.
man.
It's the same, because remember now, when you ask for, when you in the society, when communities vote for a representative, by right, the representative is who they're supposed to be dealing with.
Yeah.
You check, but them man come and they put a caretaker and check it like, yeah, boom, caretaker in front of the people's choice. The people made a choice that, yo, that is the person they want to represent their interests. But you put a caretaker and decide, well, Labour Party interests is more important than the people's
Interest,
interests.
yes.
Yeah.
Bottom line. That's it in a nutshell, and that is what we have to eradicate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
We have
because
to eradicate that.
see the example Goodwill. When the man get the funding, yeah, to put
Right,
track.
the track and thing on the savannah. The man essentially blocked that publicly, both facing. And then they come and you build a concrete path for
Nonsense.
people to run on. That is craziness.
Madness, my brother.
Running on concrete not a healthy thing.
No way.
That destroying your knees, that destroying your joints is a known factor.
Yeah, man. Same way they tell them to not to pay the clearable workers in US.
It had been going on for a while. That part they have don't pay people, they're going on for
I
a
can
while.
see Maggie want to say something.
No, but I just checking, like, you know, like somebody's asking a thing there, like, what is your guys' goals and mission for the country? Like, that person was, I don't know.
That person wasn't
Like,
listening.
They
Guy
wasn't
checking out
listening,
now,
man.
rock from me. I don't just say like I
No,
don't
you know
say-
what? That person, you know what we should consider? That person just come to listen to
Yes,
us.
yes, yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's what
The
we should
real
think
goal
of it
is
as.
Yeah.
basically
As the person first time tuning in.
It's to bring in democracy. Make the people independent, make all of us as independent as we could be. Okay? That is, in a nutshell, what it truly is. But the only way we can do that is by removing what we presently have as a government.
Pack of thieves, my brother, and pack of criminals, my brother.
To call them
the criminals.
Yeah.
One of our main goals is to change, as Pyro says, to change the direction and the thinking of our people.
Yes.
To restore self-confidence and dignity to our people, which has been lost over time. To restore Dominica to a position of prominence in the Caribbean rather than the laughing stock of the Caribbean. Not because we lack the resources, but because we lack the proper mental mindset going forward, and that is what we have to change. We are the nature island. It's not just words. We have to live that levity, and that levity, because I grew up, that started in the 80s, that nature island, and to me, you can always just throw rubbish wherever you want in Dominica, no punishment, without no punishment. Before, I used to make the joke, if a man smoking a spliff before, and a man throw trash on the road, which one would the police react to? Most likely they'll arrest the man that's smoking the joint, and the man that throw the trash on the road, he walk away. But in the reality of the society, the person that throw the trash on the road dealt a greater disservice to the nature island brand that we all trying to sell. Yet you're not enforcing that problem be solved, or people find things out of transport.
It's good to see, right?
Yes.
It was all about that, huh?
Yes, we, brother. And that really me there way. These same people I was singing about there. Look, I have to come now in my time when, and chastise them. But I guess the responsibility fall on to me.
Yeah,
because
it's your Lord,
of course, brother. I ain't there.
We don't live up to...
Yeah,
man. Since SMP for calling song, my brother.
Yeah, man, I can't remember it, but that's for another time. For real.
Yeah, well,
It's them, because listen, that was the word of this song, courtesy. My granny tell me, you check me, don't be rude. That's going to hurt you, You check me. They say some adults think that courtesy for children, but the children looking at hey brother. And that is the fundamental thing. The people and them I see, they forget that they are not owners. C'est passé, nous ka passé. We are custodians and we have to pass it on to the next generation. And it's like a vehicle, When a man pass a used vehicle to you or you show anything used, and the condition he give it to you in, you can see if he was taking care of it, or if he's a kind of a pure buick thing, pass that all kind of place, walking all kind of thing with that, and then
knowing you have to pass it on to you.
Knowing you have to pass it on to you. You check right away,
bad mind to
we are
be
custodians. So when you see you have a piece of land, or you have this or you have that, think of,
and going further, because you see, as a time I was working on a construction site as a supervisor, so that's some missions and things, check. But what I used to do now, every morning before we start work, I used to make everybody come together, you check, put out the plan on the table and discuss what we're going to do for the day and how we're going about doing it. Okay. So depending on the activity we're doing, I would call everybody and show them how to go about, like basically if you don't know, you don't understand, I'd show you how you derive it. For instance, if we make it We was going a lot of, at the time we was going still work. So they were setting up the rebars and then things for the foundation. So how he has been in this steel and putting them together and knowing how many stirrups and how many things you're going to need. Check so in the morning and come and make them understand how you calculating it, how you getting it, everything. So I call everybody from Labu Ware to treatment, everybody, come and live. If you don't know. There's one of them manager administrator, boy, first time they ever work like that, normally their boss man just come and tell them, do that. Just make that. And whole day, Mr. Boo, whole day they just get making that and they don't even know how much they have to make, how much they have to make. So I explain it to them, how you getting, how much you have to make and what you have to do, how you getting the measurement, how you... Then further checking like, wow. So a day, I didn't go to work to check. A day I didn't feel it to work. Boom. So when I come back the following day, that man taking a big suddenly checking like, yeah, you don't come to work and you know, big problem. So asking them, why is the problem? Nobody cannot answer. So asking them now, if they didn't know what to do, they check in, yeah man. They check in. Oh, you know, they want to check in because boy, the way I showing them to do the work, but right now, they understand how to go about doing the work. So whether I there, whether I not there, they could just open the plant and they know what to do. Because they understand the process of what we're going through. You check? And then fella checking like, yeah, we do our full day's work. Yeah. And we could see it right there. Yeah. They show me what they do. Yeah. And I checking like, yeah, so they're supposed to work. Because today or tomorrow, I can decide, well, yeah, I don't want to be doing them work again. Or my vibes, we check different vibes. I have to make way for you to be able to take my position before my next man to take your position. But for the chain to continue.
If not Scared, who? If not Lennox, who?
Yeah.
I know they have two set of idiots, my brother, in the country.
So many brains, my brother. That's brain me. Dominica boasting. How much doctors by there? PhD by there. When it comes to capacity, my brother. That's not our problem.
The other time, I already made it one of our people step outside there. It's like that, it's like take off in my brother.
Joke thing not there. So capacity, human capacity not our problem. It's our willingness.
Yes, man.
Our willingness. That is our problem.
We laid back, man.
Then you know what it is.
Engage with people, man. Get people to participate. Yes, so to the viewers, everybody listening. I think
Big up to all the viewers.
it's a great appreciation to be able to stay here and give our views and how we would like to see things and to move the country forward. Frankly, the faster we can do it is the better for all of us.
I'm an action time.
We can really get people to really come out.
And I know we have
together.
You know what we want? You know,
we have the capacity. I'd like to say, we don't have capacity. Capacity not a problem. It's just our willingness, so we have to really work on our willingness to see our country more together and more progressive, more productive. So for me that is my final thoughts for tonight. So good night to everyone. Have a blessed one.
And for me, action time. We're talking, we're vibes in, movement's growing, and we're moving forward. Yeah, but people and them, yeah, we really need to action them after. Yeah, because our children and them can't make their life just waste. Why is a man continue to do a scrum and do all them rubbish in the place, you understand me?
Yeah.
And I will give thanks for the support, you know what I mean? And we're gonna keep the fire burning, we keep it trotting on. And what they like the people in Séwyè tell us, when will you come back again? And when we want to make them understand, once all you're ready and all you're serious, we will be there. It's like the bus drivers do a thing, they get serious and they decide they're gonna stand. Once you're serious, if you want, it's not us that's saying when we're coming back, it's you, the people and them. Yeah. So get serious. We're serious already. We're in front. Let's go.
So what I want to leave the people with tonight is to consider the thought, the possibility of taking responsibility and taking leadership. You check me? So we no longer have to wait on a vision from a person, you know, that don't live in amongst us. We are the ones living with our neighbors in our communities. We know what we need, so we need to get together and form consensus, you know, form agreement, you know, decide what that really impacting us as a collective and what we can do to address it. And then once we make a decision together, take action and move forward with it, because you know that is what we elect people for representation. And to me, even if somebody represents you, you have a duty to come forward and speak up about what you need and what you want, because the person cannot represent you if you are mute, if you don't take action, if you don't come forward and you know. So we need to really consider that and form the collective. Love everybody, you know, one love for all my people. And then
what I'd like to say to our people tonight is, we as a people in Dominica, as individual citizens, we need to make sacrifices for tomorrow. And those sacrifices that we make for today, for tomorrow, will benefit each and every one of us as a group of people, as a country. When we stand and we inspire the youth to have a better future, we in turn, when we get old, we can have a better future, because we wouldn't be in a position where we'd have generational poverty, that our young ones will be unable to care for us in Dominica. And that is what we as a people have to work in avoiding. We have to rebuild our country from the mentality of our people upwards. It's not just about roads and bridges, because we have roads and we have bridges, but our mindset as a people is lacking. Our confidence as a people is lacking. Our dignity as a collective is lacking. Our bravery is lacking. We have to find the inspiration and the hope that's going to lead the next generation. That is what we're working towards at Moun Séwyè, to inspire the leadership of the next generation to step forward, because we cannot depend on yesterday leaders. We are here to inspire the leadership of the next generation. We want them to understand that while they were telling us not to participate in our democracy, they were stealing it from us. So we want to awaken the next generation to participate and take back the democracy that we are losing in Dominica. People have a good night. Be safe out there. Whatever you're doing, do it with love and respect and vibration. Good night.